Hello, everyone. This is Scott Roberts with Explore Scientific, and today with me is Abigail Bollenbach. And let's make sure that I have everything here correct. Abigail, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. Here, I just need to adjust my camera here a little bit. There we go. And we're there. That's great. We wanted to have you on our show, Abigail, because of the success you've had with your new program with Astronomy Magazine called Affinity and Beyond. But it's not the first time you've been on the air with us. So it's really great to have you back again with us.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Right, and so it's awesome. I wanted to give some of the viewers who are still getting to know you, some background about you. The first time I saw you speak was here at Explore Scientific during the Astronomical League convention event that happened here. They have a regional Astronomical League convention, and I was working in the background. I had heard that you were coming, didn't know much about you, and then as I'm hearing this person speaking about a space mission. Do you recall exactly which one it was?
Cassini. It was the Cassini
Okay.
mission.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So by that time, I'd already started working with Linda Spilker, who's the principal scientist on that that mission. And so I was, I'm a NASA Solar System ambassador, so I'd gotten some information about it. And I'm listening to this person speak, and I'm going, wow, that person knows a lot. Okay, about Cassini and the mission and everything.
I was obsessed. I'm still obsessed.
Yeah. And so I was just listening, and I was going, wow, this person must work or have very close connections to JPL. And so, and then I saw you, and I realized how young you were at that time. You were 16, is that right?
I was like 16, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
16, yeah.
So I was just so impressed with your knowledge and your presentation skills and all of that.
Thank you.
And I think that's what everybody is really impressed with that has come to know you. You have given talks at major star parties. I know that you have been recognized as a remarkable young person. There was a Mars, I think Mars Society or something like that.
The Mars 24 under 24.
24 under 24, yeah. Right. And so that's cool. You won a Jack Horkheimer Award for astronomy outreach, right? And,
yes.
And you got involved in astronomy at age 13?
Yeah, 13, 14.
13 or 14, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I started to have a passion much before that, but I started at our astronomy club when I was about 14, and I immediately did anything and everything that I could.
Right. It's awesome. Well, you've done some remarkable things now.
Thank you.
And now you are the host of probably, I believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I believe that you are one of the youngest hosts of all time for an astronomy program. And so, so we should actually really find that out, because that's a
good idea.
Right? Yeah. So
it would be good to know.
Right. It would be good to know, and maybe it was done before but you are still under 20 years old. Is that right?
Yes, I am 18.
18 years old. Wow.
Wise old age of 18.
Yeah. So from 4 or 5 years, you've done a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
and it's amazing
Thank you.
and wonderful that you were selected by Astronomy Magazine to start
Yeah.
up the Infinity and Beyond program. And you're now on your third episode, is that right, or fourth?
Yes, third. So the third episode was released, and that's the one that I was going to see if I could show you guys today. But because it would be terrifying to just be shooting at the hip in a sense and not be prepared with other videos in line. We have many others that, we're in the process of writing and editing and filming.
Sure, sure. Well, and it's such an honor, I think,
Yeah.
to be selected for something like this. But
It is a huge honor.
right, and you've had many great things happen to you. But a lot of people might look at for young people that might watch this program, or other people that are involved in or admire what you're doing. They might have something in their head where they think that, gosh, Abigail Bollenbach must have lived has had a lot of privilege. Okay. And when I say that, maybe, that would mean that you came from great wealth, super connected within the scientific community somehow, something like that. And I know it's quite different. I know that you have done this under your own power, and you've made your own opportunities. And I think that is something. I think that's inspiring in itself, because it does mean that anyone that really dedicates themselves, as you have,
Definitely.
Okay, can be involved at fairly high levels in the scientific community and the educational community. And, so, I know that you're just getting started in your young adult life. And, I think that many people see in you someone that will be very successful going forward, So you have a lot of energy now, and we're all really pleased that you're doing this program. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have someone as bright and as young as you are to inspire all these other people.
Thank you so much, Scott. I do feel extraordinarily privileged, though, to know and have wonderful relationships with like you and all the amazing people that have helped and supported me along the way. I feel just this overwhelmed sense of love and support and happiness with my passions, and I couldn't appreciate it more.
Well, you've paid it forward, Abigail.
Thank you.
You have done a lot of outreach yourself.
Yes.
I'm sure that you're mentoring children and young adults like yourself, and you're inspiring people of all ages. So it's just such a breath of fresh air. And so I see you as one of the very important young people in this next generation of scientists. So
thank you.
Yeah,
and we can hope. Fingers crossed.
You just keep working on it. It'll happen. I'm sure.
Thank you.
So let's hear. I don't even know this myself. What is the real backstory of how you got to be the host of this program?
So actually, the background of it is it originates with you and Explore Scientific and the Explore Alliance Ambassadors. I did a presentation virtually because of the pandemic on the pulsars and quasars. I think it was beacons of the invisible universe. And it was a very long talk. And it was kind of heavy, but David Eicher, the president and chief editor of Astronomy Magazine, just so happened to watch that and messaged me afterwards on Facebook and said that he would be interested in connecting with me and doing like an interview for Astronomy Magazine. And as soon as I read that,
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh,
wow.
This is so cool. I was like, mom, look.
Yeah.
And I was just
a little happy
ecstatic
at that time, or what happened?
So he scheduled a time for us to talk, and he said, well, I want you to talk with our other editors. And so I was like, yeah, okay, that's great. And so I get on there thinking that it's going to be this one-time thing, and I'm like super hyped and ready, and I get totally like blindsided because they're like, we want you to do a show. We want this to be continuous.
Wow.
And I was absolutely stunned and shocked. I was like, oh, really? Me? Oh my gosh. And so I, of course, said, okay, well, I think doing one every day would be a little excessive, but I can do once a week. And they're like, oh, wow, that's going to be great. We were thinking like maybe once a month, but if you're willing to do that. And I was like, are you kidding? Am I willing to do that? What? This is like my dream. Yeah. And we were going to do it every week. And then a couple editors from the magazine either got sick or quit, or something happened and they lost some. And so a lot of the load was placed on the 4 main editors that I work with, David Eicher, Haley McLaughlin, Jake Parks, and Allison Klessman. And they're amazing people. I absolutely love them so much, but they had the main workload of the entire magazine. And so we switched to every other week, but soon, hopefully, maybe a month or two, we'll go back to, once a week. But that is basically the backstory, and I'm still high off of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. So in the development of the video series, did David write something about the feel, the look and feel of the program, or how did that come about?
We basically just brainstormed through Zoom and virtual meetings. We basically brainstormed the entire thing through that and emails, creating the name and what we wanted to do, what audience, how, the time frame. And it was, a very interesting process. And editing for me is a very interesting process as well, because I would love to pontificate about any of these subjects for as much time that I've been given. So like if I had an hour, I would talk an hour, but I'm limited to 5 to 6 minutes. And that is so hard for me to hyper focus and crunch enough information and discard all of the interesting facts that, I'm impassioned by, but I'm sure would, possibly bore the rest of the audience. And that's been a learning process for me. But we've got a list of subjects that we like to do. And anytime we say, oh, this would be interesting, we, put it up on the list. But
right. Well, that's cool. And so how far out is this list that you guys have? Are you working like 3 or 4 shows out, or is it?
Right now we have, I think we're 3 shows out. Okay. Possibly, hang on. We're 3 or 4 shows out. But the list of ideas, there's, the sky is the limit in this field. And so there are so many subjects for us to cover. We're kind of, I think after about 10 to 15 episodes, we'll find a pattern and kind of a sync. We're kind of getting into that now a little bit, but we're trying to figure out to not do the same things over and over. So different things that will interest people. So maybe a planetary and then a stellar, event or object or something in relation to that. And then maybe on a galactic level, and then maybe on a universal level. And then let's come back to, planetary or something like that.
Sure. So, and this is this simulcast? Is it just on Facebook?
It is on many social media platforms. So it's on Facebook. It's on Astronomy Magazine's website, which is astronomy.com. It's on their YouTube channel. It's on Instagram. It's on their Twitter. We're hopefully going to be doing TikTok soon. There's many.
Okay.
Luckily, I don't have to manage those.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's good to know, though. It makes it much more accessible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
our goal was to reach kind of the age between 20 and 40, maybe 18. Okay. But that attention span changes with both ages, so it's kind of hard to find a middle ground. But so far, we've been killing it, which is cool.
Right. And the length of the videos has been about how long?
About 5 and a half to 6 minutes. So the first one was a little longer, and I'm working so hard to shorten what I say. And it's really funny because before I didn't have to do that, but now that's, been my new boundary that I've had to set with myself, and it's so hard to reinforce.
Right. Well, yeah, and just to keep everything, well, not talk too fast, so.
Yeah, otherwise.
I do my show, but I don't write anything down. I don't, I might have like, notes like that. Okay.
I have notes.
That's my script. Okay. So.
Well, for me, because I have ADHD and dyslexia, I feel like, yes, I do.
Wow.
Many people don't even really understand that I do, because I compensate so well and cope with it because I've had it, forever. So I've learned how to, have a cool poker face and get around it. But it is very frustrating, and I get, the little squirrel like a dog in every 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Squirrel. And so I have like notes in the background, kind of like points. So whenever I'm videoing, I can, and I actually put together some video snippets of, funny outtakes of me being very frustrated. And during this learning process, I thought they would be fun to share, just because the finished product is what we all see, and it's all nice and put together and cohesive, and it, looks professional, but behind the scenes, it's a mess.
It's a mess.
Yeah. And generally life.
Yeah, that's right.
Generally life behind the scenes is a mess. So.
Well, I'm always a mess. So, this is what you guys get. Okay. So, we do have some people watching right now. We have Jeff Setzer was able to be here just for a few minutes, and he's going to watch it later when he gets back. Pranvera Bigoli from Kosovo. Okay. We know a couple of Pranveras, but this Pranvera is also very involved in astronomy outreach and astronomy education in Kosovo. So that's great. She's watching. She says greetings. Jay Murphy said, "Am I going to have guests?" This is my guest.
It's funny.
My guest, right here. Jeff said, TikTok, question mark. Carlos Hernandez. Do you remember Carlos? Have you met Carlos?
I haven't actually met him, but he's given me many artistic pieces to use for some of my presentations that are just beautiful.
Yeah. So it's great. He checks in on a lot of these things. He wants to know, what is your favorite topic to talk about?
Ooh, space. That way I don't have to limit it. Actually, let's see. I should know this answer. I should prepare this answer for the future. I would have to say, probably Cassini. I could talk about Cassini and Saturn all day long. I could talk about how the Earth is not flat all day long to anyone. I could talk about exoplanets and kind of pulling space into perspective as well. So those would be like my main four. But that's as much as I can, stretch it down to. I don't have a one favorite topic yet.
Not yet. Well, you talk about a variety of topics so well.
Yes, thank you.
And what is it like for you? And you mentioned you have dyslexia, you have your ADHD, when you're preparing for something, a show or a program or a talk, and let's just say that you really don't know much about it, what's your preparation like? What do you have to do to get really ready? Because, when you're up there and you're doing this, I mean, you own it at that point. I know you do. So you that's right. Woo! Right. So
thank you.
And so what's that process like for you?
So I first start off with kind of just, and I know this sounds absolutely foolish, but meditating a little on the topic just to kind of clear my mind and understand what it is that I'm focusing on. So then I can switch into the hyper gear of ADHD, which on the other spectrum of it is hyper focusing. And then I will just delve into any information I can get my hands on for like 8 hours if possible. And I will just read and watch, documentaries, watch videos, and research, and then read some more. And then I'll create kind of a rough skeleton notes, and then I'll practice in the mirror for like hours, and then I'll write some more notes, and I will memorize a ton of things. And then at that point, I understand what it is that I'm regurgitating. And so, of course, I'll be able to retain it easier, and it means more, and then I can have a better appreciation of it. And to me, that's basically how I do it. And like I said, of course, it is a mess. But
what is your retention like? My son, when he was young, had a photographic memory. He still has excellent memory, but he had photographic memory.
Wow, I envy people like that. My boss has photographic memory, and I hate it.
Never had to study it once, hear it once. He had it down cold, so and could recall it at any time. You can't quite do that anymore. But what is your retention like? Once you've kind of gone through this process.
Jokingly, I will say it's like dementia, but I'm no, it's actually okay. It is. It's okay. So if it's something that I'm really impassioned about, then I will pretty much hold on to it indefinitely, or at least 18 now. I'm still holding on to it.
Yeah, you're still holding it.
So it's still there. It hasn't gone away yet, but I'm sure once I'm in some research project later on in college, some of my information on the different instruments on Cassini will filter away slowly. But I don't have a photographic memory. I would kill for a photographic memory.
Oh yeah,
so
right, nice. Right. And we touched on just a little bit. I mentioned everybody that you didn't really have a privileged childhood. Okay. For people that want to go to the next level. Okay. And these are the tools of anybody's success. Okay. I think, but what would you advise for someone to do to reach their dreams? You're obviously reaching yours. You're focusing on your goals, and maybe your laser-like focus is helping you in this regard. But how can other people go beyond the point of saying, gosh, I could never do what Abigail has done. I could never, she must have some secret weapon. She must have some special connection, this kind of thing. And I think that you have accumulated things by working with people, by helping people, by being sincere, okay, and appreciative. But what do you think is the path towards success for a young person today?
I think in order to reach your dreams, no matter what it is, you need to be persistent. No matter what obstacle you encounter, no matter what negative enforcement you get, no matter who gets in your way, just keep persisting, because you will get there no matter what. No matter if you have to go the back way, if you have to drive on gravel, if you have to go across the Sahara Desert, if you have to swim through lava, it will happen if you want it to happen, because you yourself make your own reality. And if you don't believe that, then you'll never get to where you want to be. And I think I have been very lucky, because I've had so many positive support places and people in my journey so far. But I have had many bumps, many speed bumps, and many mountains that I've had to climb that weren't very enjoyable, that if I wasn't so gung-ho with my dream, it could have just stunted that. It could have just, put a little quail on my fire, and I would have been like, oh, I'm out. This is too difficult. This is too hard. But I had the love for space and for astronomy and for the stars. And I was going to do anything that I had to. But what also has helped me is being so invested in something can sometimes be a little toxic in a sense, because you'll do anything for it, right? So if you don't have other interests and you are just about this one thing, and something happens, some, asteroid comes and crashes to the earth,
catastrophic.
and your dreams are crushed, or so you think in that moment, because it's such a catastrophic event, then what else do you have to fall back on to, help kind of, console your heart? For me, it's music. I play the piano. In fact, right now we're in my dining room because this is a green screen and my piano is right here. But I've been playing piano since since I was like 5. So, it's always been there for me. It's been my rock. And so whenever I've hit speed bumps in astronomy or with space or, public speaking, for God's sake, I still am terrified. I know that it doesn't seem like it to you guys, but I'm nervous right now, and there should be no reason for me to be nervous, because I've talked and
especially
tons of times. But I love you, and this is much more comfortable talking to you than, a board at, some physics department. But still, I still have fears of public speaking, and if I let that get in my way, or if it gets too heavy, then I'll look to music, and it can help me. Or, I was a ballerina, but you need to have something else too, not just be completely invested in one thing. I think that would be kind of a healthy balance.
Right. What out of these speed bumps and maybe you're not ready to talk about it, but what is the story you could share? Okay, as far as like when you thought, this is it. I'm destroyed today. This is obviously I have gone the wrong way, and you just wanted to run and hide.
I would say it would have to be the 2 M's: math and mentors. That's it for me. So with ADHD and with my dyslexia, math has been a huge, difficult hurdle for me to get over. And I'm still in the process of climbing it to get over it. And of course, the intensity of math increases over the years, and especially with the field that I want to pursue in college. So I know I am all in and strapped in for, the rough terrain that's ahead of me, but I am not as afraid of it as I was before, because you just have to start at the building blocks. And it just like anything in science, really, it's its own lingo, and you have to understand the language to speak it, number one, and number two, to understand it. And it wasn't very available in the way, and especially in the way that it's taught. And so it's like this, secret club, and only the cool people are in it, and we won't let anyone in, especially if you're a girl. That was a little rough for me. But speaking on the mentors, on the other M, be careful. Be very, very careful in who you trust, because once you exceed their capabilities and once you excel past them, it will show them who they really are to you. Because one of my mentors that was really, really close, that helped me from the ground up from when I first started, said some really disappointing things to me, and that, hurdle that could have just like killed that flame instantly. But just be careful, especially if you want to pursue this as a career, because I know I will encounter this many times in college, because this is understood to happen in college, let alone when you're a kid.
Well, science in itself, I mean, professional science is very, very competitive.
It is.
And sometimes they take the gloves off, and they will. Yeah. So a couple of things that come to mind to me was when I was at Mauna Kea. It was the first time I was at the 1991 eclipse. I'm part of the NOVA film crew. I'm just an amateur astronomer. Okay. I'm the way I got into sheer luck. Okay. But I was there, and And I remember going up and down the elevator in the Canadian French Hawaii telescope where we were set up. You know, you're at 14,000 feet.
Right.
So I developed this kind of schedule where I was going up every 5 hours to get oxygen. Okay.
Okay.
Because you need it. And so on more than one occasion, I get into the elevator with professional researchers and,
Okay.
you know, because it was an international group of people that came in to do this eclipse. And there were people yelling and screaming at each other and trying to get us off the mountain because we weren't professionals, you know, we weren't professional researchers. And so it was,
That's horrible.
it was horrible. And I just thought, gosh, you know, most of the
Yeah.
professional astronomers that I knew were also amateur astronomers.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like guys like
Yeah.
Edberg, and I can name a number of these people, but they also love astronomy and they love the sharing part of the amateur astronomy community, you know, that exists and is so supportive, you know, but the professional world they're all competing for instrument time.
Yeah.
They're competing for the same funding and grants that you might be competing for.
Yeah.
And it's
And then
very,
you throw ego in that mix and it becomes
right.
just chaotic.
It can be very terrible. And then you throw in, and you touched on it a little bit, that you know, discrimination against girls and women.
We need to be
A
more
lot of
inclusive.
A lot of things, and also it exists in science. It's better than it was.
It is much
It's still
better.
not fixed. Okay, it's still
not fixed.
right.
We're
And so-
getting there. We've
Right.
made huge strides, huge
Right.
improvements. So
Yeah. And I have daughters, and one of the things I always hope for my daughters as they grow up and they have children is that you know, they live in a world of equal opportunity, you know, if they come through with the goods, you know, if they're just like anyone, you know, that would come through with the goods, if they can do that, that they wouldn't somehow be sidelined and that they wouldn't be overlooked or, you know, so that's important. And a lot of, I think a lot of men in our community don't realize some of the tiny little things that we are doing sometimes to sideline a woman or a female,
Yeah.
you know, for whatever reason, you know, you don't even know it. Okay.
a lot of it is unconscious.
I've always been kind of hyper aware of it because my mother was a woman activist in the 1970s. Okay. Women's liber. And so she indoctrinated me quite a bit, especially during the period she was divorced, you know, and so.
Viva la revolution.
It was, and it still is. It still is. So
Oh, yeah.
I am a cheerleader for you, Abigail, and
Thank you
you
so
know,
much.
I really hope great things for you going forward, and I think you can make it happen.
Thank you.
We did actually come here to talk about your program, so why don't we jump into that?
Sure. Would you guys like to watch it first, or would
Let's
you want
do
the
that.
newest one?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Now, this is episode 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, welcome to Infinity and Beyond, a video series where we'll be covering actual rocket science, brought to you by Astronomy Magazine. Each episode will take a brief dive into a different topic, covering it from the basics to the latest research. My name is Abigail Bollenbach, and today I'll be taking you back to the formation of the moon.
Love the music.
It's cool.
In 1898, it was suggested that Earth and the moon were once a single body. This hypothesis was that a molten moon had been spun from Earth because of centrifuge-like forces and became the dominant explanation. There are 3 theories as to how our planet's satellite could have been created: the giant impact hypothesis, the co-formation theory, and the capture theory. The early solar system was a violent place, and a number of newly formed bodies never made it to full planetary status. One of these could have crashed into Earth not long after the young planet was formed. Known as the giant impact hypothesis, or the Theia impact, suggests that the moon formed from the ejecta of a collision between the proto-Earth and a Mars-sized planetesimal approximately 4.5 billion years ago in the Hadean eon, about 20 million to 100 million years after the solar system coalesced. Theia collided with Earth, throwing vaporized chunks of the young planet's crust into space. Gravity bound the ejected particles together, creating a moon that is the largest in the solar system in relation to its host planet. This sort of formation would explain why the moon is made up predominantly of lighter elements, making it less dense than Earth. The material that formed it came from the crust, while leaving the planet's rocky core completely untouched. When young Earth and this rogue body collided, the energy involved was 100 million times larger than the event believed to have wiped out the dinosaurs.
Oh, wow.
This is the prevailing theory supported by the scientific community. Some evidence includes Earth's spin and the moon's orbit have similar orientations. Giant collisions are consistent with the leading theories of formation of the solar system. And then our strongest evidence for the giant impact scenario comes from rocks collected during the Apollo moon landings, which show oxygen isotope ratios nearly identical to those of Earth, implying a common origin. In the aftermath of the giant impact, while Earth and the proto-lunar disk were molten and vaporized, the two reservoirs were connected by a common silicate vapor atmosphere. The Earth and Moon system became homogenized by convective stirring while the system existed in the form of a continuous fluid. Such an equilibration between the post-impact Earth and the proto-lunar disk is the only proposed scenario that explains the isotopic similarities of the Apollo rocks with rocks from the Earth's interior. Then scientists discovered in 2014 that the Apollo samples had a slightly different signature from rocks here on Earth. The difference was minor, but statistically significant. These findings could have serious implications for the moon formation debate. Moons can also form at the same time as their parent planet. Under such an explanation, gravity would have caused material in the early solar system to draw together at the same time as gravity bound particles together to form Earth. Such a moon would have a very similar composition to the planet and would explain the moon's present location. Although Earth and the moon share much of the same material, the moon is less dense than our planet, which would likely not be the case if both started with the same heavy elements at their core. Now, perhaps Earth's gravity snagged a passing body like some of the Martian moons. Under the capture theory, a rocky body that formed elsewhere in the solar system could have been drawn into orbit around Earth. The capture theory would explain the differences in the composition of Earth and its moon. However, such orbiters are often oddly shaped rather than being a spherical body like the moon. Although the co-formation theory and the capture theory both explain some elements of the existence of the moon, they leave many questions unanswered. At present, the giant impact hypothesis seems to cover many of these questions, making it the best model to fit the scientific evidence for how our moon was created. NASA has sent more than 500 Apollo lunar samples in recent years to scientists around the world for ongoing analysis. Each year, we get a handful of scientific insight and updates to what we've learned from these samples. NASA will continue that work by moving forward to the moon, with astronauts landing on the lunar South Pole, hopefully by 2024. This work will bring neoteric knowledge, unveil the truth for us to really understand the true origin of our moon, and hopefully inspire the next generation. Remember, there is no limit when you're watching Infinity and Beyond.
Excellent. Excellent. That's great. Fantastic. I'm glad to see the magazine do this kind of programming as well. Astronomy Magazine actually started programming like this early on with Dave Eicher, with his science shows and his astronomy shows that he's done. A Sky and Telescope also did, which is another leading magazine that's out there. had done sporadically some programming, but I think either magazine can't do too much of it, and I'm glad that you're doing it. So,
Thank
you know,
you.
that's
Well, I'm not doing it alone, but
no one does. No one does. I mean, I can't do what I do alone either, you know, so, but, excellent programming.
thank you.
What, let's talk a little bit about the show itself, just kind of the mechanics of the show. I mean, do you do these things like in one shot? Do you practice these, or is it lots of clips, or how's it done?
So it's done in one shot.
Okay.
Although, so that's where I get the bloopers from. So I will generally try to record it in one shot, but then there will be some screw up or mess up that I, flub on, or,
Okay.
mispronounce a word, or not, enunciate enough, or talk too fast during a certain part. And so I'll sit here and then okay, breathe, and then redo it. And so that's in the film, and either Haley will cut that, or I will cut that before I send the video to her. And then she'll put all the pretty pictures in the background, because at first, like right now, what you guys are seeing, I have my green screen behind me, and I'm using a program to project an image so that I look like I'm floating in space. But when I'm recording the actual video, we still haven't figured out the actual problem yet. But either the internet's bad, the camera in communication with my old computer is bad. There's some variable that is having a miscommunication, and the words get unsynced from my actual mouth. And so I've just been videoing as of late with the green screen, just the background with no image behind me. And she's been putting that up. That's why my hair is pink in it. And then she'll put the music and the little clips in the background. But in actually making the video, I'm sure David, Haley, Allison, and Jake will appreciate this, because I just sent them one of my latest videos that's in the process, and it's the most raw version. So that video is with me like, okay, does this sound good, guys? Next subject. And it's very funny and awkward, and I would love to show you guys that, but that would be spoiling the next show. So
oh, that's right.
why would I do that? But maybe later on, I can, maybe snag some of those little mess ups or quips. But I did put together a little outtake video that I'll show after this. Or
all right, let's watch those. That's great.
But it is difficult, because I do memorize so much of it, and then sometimes in the middle of the sentence I'll just forget it, and it's trash. I can't use it.
So you're not reading like a card.
So I have points.
Okay, just to kind of keep you on track.
Track my brain, because in one take it's hard to stay on track, especially with ADHD.
I have points too. I pull out my piece of paper and I look at them.
But I do write a full script, and I basically memorize it and read it over and over and over and over, just so I'm not changing my words, and so it doesn't sound different every single time. And then out of that, I put points on the screen behind me, because I have my own little camera set up, and I'll be like, oh, okay, we're talking about this section now, and it kind of helps reroute me. It has been a huge learning process, the technical difficulties, learning the different programs and systems to make this happen, the programs and systems that's gotten in the way, and the different equipment needed. But it has been so fun. I will cherish and take this information with me forever. And it's broadened my horizons. Even watching movies now, I appreciate it more in the process of making the movie more, because I'm like, wow, their saturation is too increased. They needed to, bring down the white balance. And it's just, it's very fun. I can go ahead and
let's see it. Let's see.
Show okay.
Let's see Abigail making a blooper. Actually, when you watch me, you're seeing bloopers all the time. So that's just it.
Okay.
Protons and neutrinos. Cosmic inflation creates a soup of subatomic particles.
This was in a test.
As the lab discovered
Okay.
background microwave radiation.
Ah.
Physics 1 second after the Big Bang.
The alarm. This is, I'll pause it here, but me Cheshire catting it, basically. This is before the green screen, and I was blending in with the background.
Oh, yeah. Well, we are all made out of that star stuff, right? So
Right.
blend it all together.
In the literal sense.
Possible there was nothing before this previous era.
I like the way you kind of just, you're trying to like wrangle it out of yourself.
Yeah.
The elements hydrogen, helium, and some lithium form from the
I remember being so frustrated with these.
when researchers in 2018 found.
So this is how we get to know the real Abigail.
Yeah.
You know?
Today, I will only be covering 3: hot Jupiters, super Earths, and the ones who've gone rogue. Some,
The give up look. I love all my looks. They're so funny.
You're grinding your teeth a little bit. Oh, okay, here we go. Breathe it out. Breathe it out.
There were some that I couldn't find where I had a literal hissy fit on the screen.
Uh-huh.
Ah!
testing, 1, 2, 3.
Here's some more
testing.
glitching.
Is this echo?
Yeah, but you can tell you're getting the lighting better. The green screen's better.
Yeah.
I didn't even do green screen. It's just beyond me. So
Yeah, it's very difficult. I still haven't gotten the hang of it quite
to get
yet.
the lighting exactly right is very tough. And the software's better than it was, you know?
Yes, much better.
One? Is it? I can't remember. I'll just try
This is a rough take.
Right.
It's 1 ping pong ball every 2 miles. So stupid. Okay, so NASA does not presume.
Here's
that
another
light-
glitch where my voice was just completely on its own and not attached to any movement
Existed
because
on Mars
of, I don't
ever,
know.
But given
Oh, okay.
curiosity,
This is not our transmission of your video.
Nope.
Let's talk about Mars. This
and this is where you can't hear my voice at all.
Yeah, but the video quality's awesome.
Yeah. But so that was
it's not all a walk in the park, is it? Yes.
no. A lot of frustration, a lot of love, a lot of blood, a lot of sweat, and some tears.
And
I've been up
tears.
early, late at night in the morning, the wee hours where the line really, there is no line if it's night or morning. Like, 2 and 3, like trying to film some of these tests or get it done because I've got so much to do in the daytime, with my other job, where it's just like, I will sit here and I couldn't find the videos. Hopefully one day I will be able to find those and include that in that series where there was one where I had an actual mental breakdown and I just started crying. I was just, why is this happening to me? And then there was one where I just was really mad, but yeah, no, it's not all roses and puffs behind the scene. It's very, very fun, but just the learning curve I have been impatient with. Right.
Well, Abigail, we've been on for a while. I know that, I told you the show would be on for about half an hour. We've gone on for about 50 minutes already. But before I let you go, I wanted to know a little bit about, you're on this journey. How do you look at things? I remember when I was 20 years old, I was so confused, about about what I wanted to do. There was some basic things that I wanted to get done in my life. And I did hang on to them, okay, during all the throes of growing up. And, you know, the advice you gave about mentors is very, very important. You know, and this is true for all people. And it's impossible to go through life without running into people that may seem very helpful, but then turn out to be bad characters in your life. It helps build your character, you know, and no one gets out unscathed.
Right.
But where do you see yourself going in the next maybe 5 to 10 years?
Well, I do feel a little ahead of my peers just because I've known what I wanted to do for about almost 10 years now, and have been, you know, very, you know, I've stuck with it, and I've kept it going. So hopefully I will continue that, and I won't get, you know, crushed by the difficult things that are in my path, which, knowing me, that's not going to happen. But I would love to work at NASA one day, or ESA, or for some private space company, or be behind the screen, or getting the data in and seeing, you know, what's new, what's possible, what's, you know, what was impossible that could be possible. Just anything really, especially in today's time, the sky really isn't the limit anymore. It's beyond that. It's, you know, the walls and our perception of what the universe really is the limit now, because we've advanced so much. And I am so excited to pursue this journey even more, and to find out things that I didn't even know I needed to know, just because there is so much information. So I'm very open, but hopefully I would like to study astronomy or astrophysics. But if it's some other field of cosmology, then of course, I will be all there, all or nothing. And with this, it is everything. So
Right. Well, thank you very much, Abigail.
Thank you.
We're going to close out. We have like some ending credits and stuff like that. But I will look forward to the very next time that we can do this again. So, okay.
Thank you so much, Scott. To infinity and college.
What's that?
I said to infinity and college.
In college, right. And just before we go, I am going to double check to see if we have any questions here. And it looks like we did. Let's see. Abigail's a wonderful role model for young women and men that are excited about a career in science. I look forward to seeing more women in science in the future. That was from Carlos. Christopher Mick, Abigail is inspiring a new generation to the wonders of the universe. Perseus Bliad says the lady who does amazing graffiti on the telescopes is amazing. Okay. I think that they were thinking of the lady. You were at the Cosmoquesticon.
I did. Well. Yeah, I did. I spoke on a couple of panels.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
Awesome people.
This show resulted in someone subscribing to Astronomy Magazine. So if you're listening to David Eicher, that's right. We did put $1 in the bucket there. Let's see. And I think some people would like to proposals of marriage might erupt out of this. So
not yet.
Not yet.
I will be married to my education before I marry.
She's already married. That's right.
Another person.
Abby, being genuine is part of your charm. Do not lose it. That was from Chuck Lewis. Carlos,
I'm not sure if I could be even if I tried.
Leather Rock is very spontaneous and realistic. Yeah, it's because they are spontaneous and realistic. Yeah. Replying to Perseus. Okay. It's a private conversation. Let's see. Any other questions? Mr. Thump 30 watched this. A great interview. Good interview. Mbante is watching from Cameroon. Says hello. And Jeff Setzer says, yay, college. So there you go. Yeah. Anyhow.
That for like 10 years. And it will get less enthusiastic every year.
Every year, exponentially.
Hey, college.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Abigail, and we will see you next time. And everybody else, keep looking up, and we will see you. We have another show this evening at 4:00 for the Open Go-To community with Jerry Hubble. So we will see you later, and take care.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Bye-bye.